Dear chosen ones, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who has contributed through Super Thanks. Your support means more than words can express. Whether you donated or simply engaged with this message, you are part of this powerful movement. For those of you who chose to donate, I want to give you a special thank you. Your generosity makes it possible for us to continue bringing these transformative messages to the world. For everyone here, whether you donated or not, your energy, presence, and engagement are deeply appreciated. Do you realize how much your support helps keep this movement growing? Now, awaken your spirit, my beloved. Power is not given to you. You have to take it. Beyoncé, think about that for a second. Do you ever wonder why the most powerful people in history didn't wait for an invitation? Why they claimed their place, even when the world said they didn't belong? What if the truth is that the most powerful people didn't sit back and wait for things to come to them? They took action. And the crazy part, what if most of them weren't even half as powerful as you are right now? Now, here's something that will truly shake you. Scientists have proven that human energy can literally be felt by others. Do you realize that your mere presence can influence emotions, decisions, and even biological responses? It's not just that people see your power, they feel it. Have you ever felt someone's energy shift when you entered a room? And does that make you wonder, why does it make others so uncomfortable? Ever notice how some people get uneasy around you? Maybe they subtly try to undermine your confidence, act overly competitive, or try to throw jabs at your progress. Could it be that it's not random, it's instinctual? When someone carries raw, unshakable energy, those who rely on fear and control start to get uncomfortable. What does it say about them when your strength shakes their foundations? Could it be that the real reason they try to hold you back is because they sense the power you have, even if they don't say it? Here's the thing, you have no idea how powerful you are, but they do, and that's exactly why they work so hard to keep you from realizing it. How often have you held back from stepping into your power because of someone else's doubt? What if you didn't need permission anymore to claim what's already yours? Are you ready to claim your power fully? If this message resonated with you, if it sparked something deep inside, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. But also, comment 999 below. Let's make it a collective awakening. Are you ready to rise with those who truly get it? God's chosen ones, you have no idea how powerful you are. They feel it, and it terrifies them. 1. Your existence alone disrupts the status quo. You might not realize it, but simply existing, just as you are, is an act of defiance. You don't have to move mountains, give speeches, or prove yourself to anyone. The mere fact that you occupy space, breathe the air, and walk through life as yourself already shakes the foundations of everything others have carefully built around them. Have you ever wondered why your presence makes people uneasy? Is it possible that your very existence challenges their expectations in ways they're unwilling to face? It's because the way you think, the way you move, and simply the way you are is something they can't control. You're disruptive, not because you try to be, but because you refuse to conform to their narrow expectations. This disruptiveness is a gift. Have you ever thought about how this might be part of a greater plan? In the Bible, we see the same force in the lives of many chosen ones. Consider the example of David. He wasn't the oldest, strongest, or the most obvious candidate for kingship, but God saw in him something powerful, something that made him stand out, his heart, and it was this very heart that became a disruptive force against the mighty Goliath. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. Could it be that what makes you stand out today is exactly what God has placed in you to disrupt the world? In today's world, people thrive on predictability. Society, institutions, even the people around you, function by understanding what to expect from others. But when you step outside the conventional molds, when you stop following the script that everyone else is reading, they don't know how to handle you. You are like the wind, unseen, uncontainable, and impossible to predict. What would happen if you fully embraced your unpredictability? What if you let go of the need to fit into their predefined boxes? Think about the life of someone like Steve Jobs. He didn't fit the mold of a conventional businessman. His relentless pursuit of innovation disrupted entire industries. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Steve Jobs didn't need validation from anyone. His vision was so powerful, it transformed the world, just like your presence shakes the foundations of others' expectations. Could it be that your vision holds the same power to shift the world around you? But here's the truth. The discomfort people feel around you isn't about what you've done. It's about who you are. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Some will try to minimize you, tell you to calm down, or that you're too much. They do this not because you're overwhelming, but because you force them to confront their own limitations, their own fears. Do not be afraid of them. The Lord your God himself will fight for you. Deuteronomy 3:22. Are you ready to be unapologetically yourself, even when it makes others uncomfortable? You are a force, unapologetic, aware, and capable of shifting entire systems with your mere existence. They feel threatened, but that threat isn't because you've done something to them. It's because you're living a version of life they don't understand, or perhaps don't have the courage to pursue. And here's the most powerful part. You don't need their approval. You don't need them to understand. The force that drives you is far greater than their fears. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1:7. What if the very thing that terrifies them is the key to unlocking your full potential? 2. They fear what they can't predict, and you are unpredictable. Why do people fear what they don't understand? Because they can't predict it. Think about it. How often have you found yourself unsettling others without intending to? You don't respond the way they expect. You don't play by the rules they thought you would. That kind of unpredictability is terrifying for those who rely on control. What if your unpredictability is your greatest strength? The true power of God's chosen ones lies not in their ability to be understood, but in their ability to remain unreadable. Jesus himself embodied this when he was on earth. The Pharisees and others tried to pin him down, trying to figure out his next move, but he always remained a mystery to them. But Jesus did not trust himself to them because he knew all people. John 2:24. Could it be that your ability to remain unreadable is your secret weapon, the one thing that keeps others on edge? Consider the example of a person like Muhammad Ali, who defied all expectations of a boxer. His boldness, unpredictability, and refusal to conform to society's ideas about athletes made him an icon. He didn't play by the rules. They couldn't predict his next move, and that's what made him unforgettable. I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. What if you embraced the same confidence in your unpredictability? Could it elevate you to greatness, just like Ali? You are the same. People watch you trying to figure out your next move, trying to place you in their predictable boxes. But just like they couldn't predict Jesus or Ali, they can't predict you. They wait for you to react the way they think you will. But when you don't, the fear sets in. Why? Because unpredictability holds power. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Could it be that the more they try to figure you out, the more you become a force they can't control? And when they can't figure you out, they'll try to control you. They might test you, push your buttons, or attempt to box you in. Why? Because the moment they realize they can't control you, the fear escalates. They don't know what you're capable of, and that uncertainty makes them nervous. That's the real power you hold. The ability to remain unpredictable, to force others to question their own assumptions. What if embracing that unpredictability is your path to freedom? You don't owe anyone predictability. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit into their narrow perspectives. For the Lord is your keeper, the Lord is your shade on your right hand. Psalm 121, verse 5. The more you embrace your true self, unpredictable, independent, and living on your own terms, the more power you have. And the more they realize that no matter how hard they try, they'll never truly know what you're capable of until it's already too late. 3. You don't need permission to be great, and that's a problem for them. Do you find yourself constantly waiting for permission, waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to step up, to claim your power, and take what's rightfully yours? The truth is, most people do, waiting for approval, validation, or a sign that it's safe to move forward. But what if the approval you seek is something you'll never receive from others? Here's the harsh reality. No one is coming to give you permission. No one is going to hand you power, respect, or a place at the table. The ones who have it didn't wait for anyone's approval. They took it. And the second you decide to do the same, you become a problem for those who have been thriving off your hesitation, off your smallness. Why does that feel so uncomfortable for them? People are conditioned to believe they have to be chosen by a boss, by society, or by the system to step into something greater. That's a lie. A story designed to keep you in place while others advance. But once you recognize that you don't need anyone's validation to be great, you strip away the very thing that keeps most people stuck, the fear of moving without permission. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. When you begin to own your voice, take up space without asking if you're worthy, and stop apologizing for wanting more, you upset the balance. You become unpredictable, dangerous, a force they cannot control. Is it possible that by choosing to step into your greatness, you challenge the world around you in ways that most people aren't ready to face? They will try to humble you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you're not ready. They'll attempt to shake your confidence and make you hesitate. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. But what if you simply decided that you are ready, regardless of their doubts or their expectations? That's when the game shifts in your favor. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. You don't need permission to take up space or move forward. You don't need their recognition for your power to exist. The only thing that matters is whether you recognize it first. And once you do, nothing, not their opinions, their doubts, or their rules, can stop you. 4. Your presence forces people to confront their own limitations. Have you ever wondered why some people react so strongly to you, especially when you haven't done anything to provoke them? The truth isn't about your actions, it's about what you represent. You represent everything they could be but aren't. You remind them of all the dreams they abandoned, the goals they never pursued, the version of themselves they buried under fear, doubt, and complacency. This discomfort isn't always obvious. It often hides behind backhanded compliments, subtle competition, or dismissive comments. You think you're better than everyone. Why are you trying so hard? Or, Must be nice to have that confidence. What they're really saying is, I see something in you that I wish I had in myself, and it's easier to criticize you than to admit that I've been holding myself back. Does that sound familiar? How often have you been criticized for simply being yourself? Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Matthew 7:3. People don't lash out at mediocrity. They don't waste their energy resenting those who make them feel comfortable. But someone who challenges their self-perception, someone who forces them to confront their wasted potential, that's a different story. You are not just another person to them. You are a mirror. And looking into that mirror is painful when they don't like what they see. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey. She came from a background filled with hardship, yet she rose to prominence and success. Many people criticized her, and some even tried to tear her down. But she kept moving forward. Her very presence challenged the norms, forced people to examine their own lives, and made them confront their own limitations. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. Could it be that your mere existence is forcing others to reflect on their own untapped potential? Some people will try to downplay your achievements or make you second-guess yourself. Why? Because if they can shake your confidence, they don't have to confront their own insecurities. If they can bring you down to their level, they don't have to rise up to yours. But this battle is not yours. It's theirs. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. You are not responsible for their insecurities, and you are certainly not responsible for making them feel comfortable at the cost of your own growth. The ones who are ready to evolve will be inspired by you. The ones who aren't will be intimidated. Either way, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So, why not keep going? Keep rising and let them deal with themselves. 5. You've already won the moment they start talking about you. Have you ever noticed how the moment someone starts talking about you, especially in a negative light, it's actually a sign that you've already won? Here's the truth. People don't waste energy on things that don't matter. They don't gossip about people who are insignificant. They don't try to discredit someone who isn't a threat. So why do they talk about you? Why do they go out of their way to criticize, scrutinize, or belittle you? If your name is in their mouth, if they're taking time out of their day to bring you down, it's because you matter, and whether they admit it or not, they know it. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. You've made an impact just by being yourself. Your existence alone is powerful enough to stir their emotions and force them to acknowledge your presence. Isn't that a sign of your greatness? People attack what they fear. It's a defense mechanism. When they see someone rising, someone who refuses to be controlled, someone who doesn't need their approval to move forward, it triggers something deep inside them. It reminds them of their own limitations, their own insecurities, and their own failures. And instead of working on their own growth, they fixate on you. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness. Ephesians 6:12. Could it be that their reaction is not really about you, but about their internal battles? They'll twist your words, downplay your abilities, and try to make you feel like you're not as great as you are. Not because it's true, but because they need it to be true. If they can convince themselves that you're just lucky, that you don't deserve what you have, or that you're not actually a threat, they don't have to face the uncomfortable reality that you've already outgrown them. Does it bother you that their perception of you is shaped by their own limitations rather than your truth? Let's think about the story of someone like Michael Jordan. The world didn't always believe in his greatness. Critics questioned him, doubted him, and tried to minimize his success. But as he faced these criticisms, They only fueled his greatness even more. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. His critics only made him more determined. Could it be that your critics are doing the same for you, unknowingly adding to your power? The funniest part of all, the more they talk about you, the more power they give you. Every time they mention your name, they are spreading your influence. Every time they try to discredit you, they're proving that you're worth talking about. Isn't it fascinating how their attempts to bring you down are actually elevating you? The same people who want to see you fail are the ones unintentionally making you more relevant. They're investing their energy in you, even if they don't realize it. So, let them talk. Let them whisper. Let them waste their energy trying to bring you down. Why? Because while they're busy obsessing over you, you're busy winning. No weapon that is fashioned against you shall succeed, and you shall confute every tongue that rises against you in judgment. Isaiah 54:17. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't need to prove anything. Their reaction alone is proof that you've already made an impact, and that's your victory. When they talk, they reveal that you've already won. Isn't it time to embrace the power of their attention and keep moving forward? 6. You don't need to be liked. You need to be respected. Have you ever found yourself caught in the cycle of seeking approval? Many people live their lives trapped by the need to be liked. They mold themselves based on what others find acceptable, adjusting their words, their actions, and even their dreams to fit into a box that others deem right. But what if that constant striving for approval is actually holding you back? For am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? Galatians 1:10. Could it be that the very thing you're seeking is the very thing that makes you dependent and therefore controllable? Here's the truth. When you live for approval, you create a dependency. And once you're dependent, you become controllable. But those in positions of power, they don't chase popularity, they chase respect. Why? Because respect isn't a surface-level validation. It's built on something deep, something real. It's not about how many people smile at you or how many compliments you receive. It's about how many people truly recognize your worth, even if they don't personally like you. Does it feel empowering to think that you don't need everyone's approval to be valuable? Throughout history, many impactful figures weren't universally adored. They weren't concerned with pleasing everyone. Instead, they focused on creating something meaningful. They were too busy shaping the future, breaking barriers, and challenging the status quo. Think about the way people responded to figures like Winston Churchill. Not everyone liked him, but his leadership during World War II earned him respect. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. He didn't chase popularity. He chased a legacy. Could it be that your refusal to please everyone is the very thing that propels you toward greatness? When you choose to move like that, bold, unapologetic, and focused on your mission, you're bound to upset some people. But here's the reality. You don't need everyone to like you. What you need are the right people to respect you. Why? Because respect opens doors that popularity can't. It forces people to acknowledge you, even when they don't want to. Respect places you in situations where your presence is undeniable, where being liked is irrelevant. Have you ever wondered how your refusal to fit into others' expectations might actually work in your favor? The moment you stop trying to win people over, you become untouchable. You stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your choices. You stop watering yourself down to make others comfortable. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. What if you stopped seeking validation and simply embraced your authenticity? That's when true power takes hold. You no longer need to win anyone's approval because your strength lies in your unwavering confidence. You stand firm in your truth. You become a force that cannot be ignored. Let them dislike you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them talk. At the end of the day, their approval means nothing. But their respect? That's what lasts. That's what shifts things. For the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Proverbs 3:26. And that respect, that makes you unstoppable. 7. They can't understand you because you don't speak their language. Have you ever wondered why some people just don't get you? It's not because you're wrong or because you're too much. It's not because you need to explain yourself better. It's simply because you don't speak the same language. For the message about the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. 1 Corinthians 1:18. Could it be that your mindset and your way of communicating are on a different frequency from theirs? You speak in action, they speak in fear. You talk in movement, progress, and execution. They talk in excuses, hesitation, and self-imposed limits. What if the difference between you and them isn't about your capability, but about how you view the world? You say, "Let's make it happen." They say, "But what if it doesn't work?" You think, "What's the next step?" They think, "What's the safest option?" Think about the difference between pioneers and those who follow. Pioneers like Elon Musk and Thomas Edison didn't wait for safety or certainty. They pushed forward, often met with doubts and resistance, yet their language was one of action, not hesitation. Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Isn't it empowering to think that the great innovators and change-makers speak a language that others don't yet understand? You are playing on a different frequency. You're not stuck in loops, repeating the same doubts, the same insecurities, and the same narratives that keep others comfortable. You are thinking about the next breakthrough, the next challenge, the next opportunity. But what happens when you refuse to stay trapped with them? Why do you think that makes them so uncomfortable? That's why they look at you like you're the strange one. That's why they call you unrealistic, reckless, or arrogant. It's not because you are. It's because your mindset makes theirs feel small. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Isaiah 55:8. Could it be that the very thing they fear is your potential to break free from their limited perspective? Instead of rising to meet you, they'd rather pull you back down to a place where they can understand you again. But you don't owe them that. You don't owe them your explanation. You don't have to shrink yourself so they feel safe. You don't have to slow down so they can keep up. You were running a good race. Who cut in on you to keep you from obeying the truth? Galatians 5:7. If they don't understand your moves, let them stay confused. If they don't get why you think the way you do, let them misinterpret you. The truth is, their lack of understanding is not your responsibility. If they want to sit in the same conversations, repeating the same fears, let them. But you have things to build, places to go, and a future to create. You don't need them to understand you. What you need is the freedom to keep moving forward. Because the ones who are meant to be on your level, the ones who resonate with your language, will recognize it the moment they hear it. And the Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. 1 Kings 19:11. Your language may be new, but it's powerful. Keep speaking it. Keep moving. The right people will hear you. 8. Power isn't just in what you say, it's in what you don't say. Have you ever realized that power isn't just in what you say? In fact, sometimes the loudest person in the room is the weakest. True power is found in restraint. It's in what you don't say, what you don't react to, and what you choose to leave unanswered. Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble. Proverbs 21:23. Could it be that silence, not words, is what truly makes people uncomfortable? Silence makes people uneasy. It forces them to fill in the gaps, to question themselves, to wonder what you're thinking. And that's where the real control lies. When you remain silent, you don't give them anything to work with. You don't give them an opening to twist your words or manipulate you into a defensive position. Have you ever noticed how some people can't handle a lack of reaction from you? Why do you think that is? Consider how powerful figures like Nelson Mandela wielded their influence. Mandela was known for his quiet strength, for his ability to hold his tongue in the face of immense adversity. His silence in many critical moments didn't weaken him, it solidified his power. I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. Nelson Mandela. What if your silence could be the most powerful statement you make? What if it forces others to confront their own assumptions and expectations? When you argue, over-explain, or try to prove yourself, you give away your power. You offer them something to counter, to twist, or to manipulate. But when you choose to say nothing, they have nothing. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Proverbs 29:11. What if, in moments of provocation, the most powerful response is no response at all? That's why people panic when you don't react. They expect you to get defensive, to justify yourself, or to meet them at their level. But when you refuse to engage, when you let their words fall into empty space, it drives them crazy. They scramble to get a reaction from you, to push you into defending yourself. But the second you do, they've won. They've pulled you into their game. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him. Proverbs 26:4. Could it be that when you master the art of silence, you stop playing their game and start controlling the narrative? The most powerful people don't play that game. They let their actions, their results, and their presence speak louder than any words ever could. Think of someone like Mahatma Gandhi, who, during his fight for India's independence, remained calm and unshaken, never responding with violence or anger, but with peaceful protest. His silence in the face of oppression sent a message that words could never convey. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi. Can you imagine the impact of choosing to respond with action rather than words? Silence is its own kind of response. It unsettles people, commands attention, and forces them to feel your presence rather than just hear your voice. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every insult, every rumor, or every attempt to provoke you is worth your energy. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. The real power comes from knowing when to speak and when to say nothing at all. And when you master this, you become untouchable. 9. You are the exception, and exceptions make people nervous. Have you ever noticed how people like to believe in rules? Rules about life, success, and what's possible. Not just the laws, but the unspoken ones. They tell themselves you have to follow this path to make it. They believe you need these qualifications to succeed. You must wait your turn, pay your dues, and stay within the lines. These rules make them feel safe. They give them a sense of order and certainty. But what happens when someone comes along and shatters that comfort? You are the exception. You don't follow the script they've created. You move differently. You achieve results without asking for permission. You succeed without obeying the paths they've convinced themselves are the only way. And that terrifies them. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. Could it be that your success is the proof they never wanted to see? The proof that the rules they live by may have never been real? That's why they try to discredit you. They'll call you lucky, say you had an unfair advantage, or act like you must have cheated the system. Why? Because if they admit that you're simply proving the rules were never real, they'd have to confront the uncomfortable truth. They've been holding themselves back all this time, and most people would rather protect their comfort than face the fact that they've been the ones limiting themselves. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Could it be that the only limits they face are the ones they've created in their minds? Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey. She came from a difficult background, yet she achieved greatness. She didn't follow the conventional paths. She forged her own. Oprah didn't wait her turn, and she didn't stay within the lines. Turn your wounds into wisdom. Oprah Winfrey. What if your success too is proof that the traditional rules people believe in are just illusions? It's not that they hate you. It's not that they don't want you to succeed. It's that you represent a reality they weren't ready for, a reality where playing it safe wasn't necessary, where the limitations they believed in were self-imposed, and where they could have done more, but they chose not to. So they lash out. They downplay your success. They act like you're the weird one, the exception, but deep down they know the truth. But the one who is noble plans noble things, and on noble things they stand. Isaiah 32:8. Doesn't it feel empowering to think that your success challenges their reality? You've proven that the rules don't apply, that limits are illusions, and that the only thing stopping them is themselves. That's why exceptions make people nervous, because once one person proves the rules were never real, everyone has to start questioning everything they thought they knew. And that's the power you hold, the power to disrupt, to make others rethink their entire approach to life. 10. You see through the illusions, and that makes you a threat. Have you ever realized how many people are mentally asleep? Not physically, but mentally. They are trapped in a system designed to keep them distracted, chasing things that don't matter, and believing lies that keep them small. They are told that success is about approval, that happiness comes from outside validation, and that power is something given rather than taken. They believe it because it's easier than questioning it. For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. 2 Timothy 4:3. But you don't buy into it. You see through the illusions. You know the game, and even worse, you know how to win it. That makes you dangerous, not just to individuals, but to entire systems. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. What if the truth you know is the very thing that makes others fear you? What if it's the awareness of how manipulated they've been that makes you stand out as a threat? People who see through the noise can't be manipulated. They can't be controlled with false promises or fake rewards. They don't waste time chasing things that were designed to keep them occupied, but never fulfilled. Think about someone like Elon Musk, who didn't follow the traditional paths. He saw through the noise and created something truly revolutionary. His success didn't come from following the rules. It came from defying them. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Could your ability to see beyond the illusions be the key to your own success, just like his? And that threatens everything. They want people running in circles thinking the only way to win is to play by their rules. But you know better. you've realized that the real power isn't in seeking approval, it's in not needing it. For, am I now seeking the approval of man or of God? Or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. The real success isn't in following the path they built for you, it's in building your own. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to a life of blind conformity. Think of someone like Maya Angelou, who defied all odds and created a legacy by telling her own story. She didn't need to follow the conventional path to become a voice for change. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. How much stronger would you feel if you embraced the same mindset to create your own path and trust in your own abilities? That's why they try so hard to shut you down, discredit you, or make you doubt yourself. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. Isaiah 41:10. People like you, people who think for themselves, move with intention, and refuse to be controlled, are the only ones who can break the cycle. And here's the part they fear the most. Once you fully step into your power, others will see it too. When that happens, the entire system starts to crumble, because all it takes is one person proving the game was rigged to make everyone else stop playing by the rules. The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. Could it be that you, as the exception, have the power to disrupt the very system that has been holding others back? 11. The more you level up, the lonelier it gets, and that's a good thing. Have you ever noticed that the higher you climb, the lonelier it gets? It's not because you've done something wrong, it's because at your altitude, fewer people can breathe. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession. 1 Peter 2:9. Could it be that the very isolation you feel is a sign of your growth, a reminder that you are on a path few are capable of following? Power, success, and self-mastery require a level of endurance most people don't have. And the further you go, the more you'll notice something. The crowd gets smaller. It's easy to feel like something is wrong, especially when people you once trusted start to distance themselves. Why do certain relationships feel strained? Why do fewer people seem to understand you? For the mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but my steadfast love shall not depart from you. Isaiah 54:10. Not everyone is built to handle power. It takes resilience, discipline, and a level of self-awareness that most people aren't willing to develop. Some prefer comfort over growth. Some are addicted to distractions, excuses, and mediocrity. But when you step into something greater, they have two choices: rise with you or step back. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Could it be that the very people who fall away were never meant to go as far as you? That's not a loss, it's a filter. The people who can't handle the pressure of your growth were never meant to go all the way with you. If they were, they'd be leveling up too. Think of someone like Steve Jobs, who revolutionized technology, but often faced isolation due to his unconventional methods. He understood that not everyone could accompany him on his journey of constant innovation. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. Does it make you wonder if your growth requires you to leave some people behind to make room for those who truly align with your vision? When they start resenting your progress, making you feel guilty for wanting more, or subtly trying to keep you within their reach, that's your cue. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot. and turn to attack you. Matthew 7:6. They were never meant for the next level. The loneliness you feel isn't a punishment. It's a sign you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You didn't settle. You didn't stop. You kept going when others made excuses. And the ones who truly belong at the top, they'll find you there. The higher you go, the fewer distractions there are, the clearer your path becomes, and the more aligned you become with the people who understand your journey. Think of Maya Angelou, who stood firm in her vision despite the challenges she faced. She rose above the noise, creating a lasting impact in the world. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. Could it be that your solitude is simply the space where your true purpose is being shaped, free from the distractions of those who are not meant to walk beside you? So let them fall away. Let them misunderstand you. Let them stay where they're comfortable. Your journey isn't for everyone, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. 12. They want you to doubt yourself because they can't handle the truth. Have you ever felt that moment when you start stepping into your power and suddenly doubt begins to creep in? That nagging voice telling you that you're not good enough, that maybe you're not ready, that maybe others are right to question your ambition. But here's the truth. It's not your own voice that's whispering those doubts. It's the voices of others. For God gave us a spirit, not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1:7. Could it be that the seeds of insecurity they plant are not really about you, but about their inability to rise to the level you've reached? Have you ever stopped to consider why your growth makes others so uncomfortable? Doubt is a weapon, and those who fear your power know exactly how to use it. They don't need to stop you outright. All they need to do is make you question yourself. Once you start doubting, once you hesitate, once you second-guess your own abilities, they don't have to hold you back. You'll do it yourself. This is the game they play. They plant subtle seeds, remarks disguised as concern, sideways glances, or lukewarm support. Have you heard things like, "Are you sure you're ready for this? What if you fail?" People like us don't usually make it that far. Do you recognize that these aren't words of advice? They're words of fear. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. 1 John 4:18. Can you see how their fear is being projected onto you? The truth is, your growth forces people to confront their own insecurities and the lies they've believed for years. They've spent their lives convincing themselves that success is for the chosen few, that confidence equals arrogance, that making big moves is reckless, and that staying small is the smarter choice. But you come along and you shatter these illusions. You prove that limits are self-imposed, that fear is a choice, and that success isn't about waiting for permission, it's about persistence and action. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. What would happen if you fully embraced the power of your persistence? How much of your success has come from simply not giving up, even when others doubted you? And that shakes them to their core, because if you're right, if the rules they've been following aren't the truth, then they've been wrong all along. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Proverbs 9:10. How much easier would it be for them to stay comfortable in their beliefs rather than face the reality that they've been holding themselves back? Rather than admit that they've been holding themselves back, rather than rise with you, they'll try to pull you down. Why? Because it's easier for them to maintain their comfort and stay in the illusion than face the uncomfortable reality that their lives have been shaped by false beliefs. Take someone like Albert Einstein, for example. He was often misunderstood, criticized and doubted by many throughout his career. His ideas about the universe were so groundbreaking that they were initially rejected by the mainstream scientific community. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Could it be that Einstein's ability to persist despite the doubts of others is exactly what allowed him to change the world? Imposter syndrome creeps in, not because you don't belong, but because you're stepping into something real, something most people don't have the courage to face, for you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received a spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. Romans 8:15. Why does stepping into your power feel so uncomfortable? Is it because you're afraid to face the truth of your potential? Or is it the fear of others projecting their doubts onto you? When you start doubting yourself, recognize where that doubt is coming from. It's not your truth, it's theirs. It's the weight of everyone who never dared to do what you're doing. It's the fear of those who stayed in their comfort zones, never questioning the rules or daring to reach higher. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Could it be that by carrying their fears, you're stopping yourself from stepping into your greatness? You don't owe them that. You don't need to carry their fears or let them pull you back into their world of doubt and limitation. Let them doubt you. Let them whisper. Let them stay in the illusion. Your path is different, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. I press on toward the goal to win the prize, for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Philippians 3:14. What if you fully embraced your journey, regardless of how others may view it? The moment you stop seeking their approval and stop allowing their fears to control you, you become unstoppable. Because just like Einstein, your true power lies in your ability to believe in yourself, to persist, and to keep moving forward, even when others can't see the vision. 13. The most powerful person in the room is the one least afraid to lose. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful person in the room is the one least afraid to lose? Power isn't about having the most money, the loudest voice, or the highest status. True power comes from one thing: a lack of fear. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. 2 Timothy 1:7. Could it be that the real source of your strength isn't in what you possess, but in your ability to stand unshaken in the face of uncertainty? Most people operate from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing what they've built. Even the so-called powerful ones, the ones with status, titles, and influence, are often just as trapped as everyone else. They are motivated by the need to avoid loss, rather than to achieve more. They play defense, they protect, hoard, and avoid risk. They're terrified of falling, so they never truly rise. The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. Proverbs 29:25. Do you see how fear keeps them trapped, unable to move forward or embrace new opportunities? But you play a different game. You're not desperate to hold on to things. You're not moving from scarcity, from the need to impress, or from the fear of what happens if it all falls apart. You're not chained to a specific outcome because you know something most people don't. Freedom is the real power. Think of someone like Richard Branson. He didn't amass his fortune by holding on to what was safe or predictable. Branson took risks that seemed insane to others, and yet his boldness allowed him to create a multi-billion-dollar empire. You don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing and by falling over. When you stop fearing loss, you become unpredictable. You make moves others wouldn't dare to make. You take risks that seem insane, to people who are ruled by fear. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. You aren't bound by the need for approval, comfort or safety, and that makes you a nightmare for anyone who is. Because they can't manipulate you, they can't control you with threats, rejection, or the possibility of failure. None of it affects you. How liberating would it feel to live without the constant fear of losing what you have? That's why fearless people rise while others stay stagnant. While others are clinging to what they have, trying to avoid loss, you're out there creating more. You're expanding, taking shots, making plays. And yes, sometimes you'll lose. But what if that loss is just part of the process of success? It's in the failures that you build resilience and refine your approach. You'll keep moving, keep rebuilding, keep evolving, while they stay exactly where they are. For a righteous man falls 7 times and rises again. Proverbs 24:16. Isn't it true that it's the fear of loss that often keeps others from even trying, while your ability to bounce back makes you unstoppable? Detach from fear. Detach from the need to protect what you have at the cost of what you could have. The second you do that, you become unstoppable, because a person with nothing to fear, that's a person no one can control. For you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you have received a spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. Romans 8:15. What would happen if you fully embraced that freedom? How much could you accomplish if fear no longer held you back? 14. You are the storm, not the shelter. Have you ever felt that pull to be predictable, manageable, easy to categorize, to play it safe, to move carefully so you don't disturb the way things have always been? Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Could it be that the world expects you to shrink into a box, to find shelter from the storms, when you were actually meant to be the storm? Most people seek comfort. They avoid disruption. They shrink themselves to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain them. But you were never meant to be contained. You are not the shelter. You are the storm. For the kingdom of God is not a matter of talk, but of power. 1 Corinthians 4:20. What if the power you possess isn't in playing it safe, but in embracing the force of who you truly are? They can feel it, even if they don't say it. It's in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you refuse to play by the rules they swear are unbreakable. Your very existence disrupts the illusion they've built their lives around, and that makes people nervous. Have you ever wondered why people get uncomfortable when you step into your full potential? Could it be that your courage to break the rules forces them to confront their own limitations? Because storms don't ask for permission. They don't wait for approval. They don't move carefully to avoid making people uncomfortable. Storms change everything, whether people are ready or not. Think of someone like Martin Luther King Jr. He didn't wait for approval to fight for civil rights. His courage to speak out and demand change disrupted the entire system. And even when others resisted, his mission moved forward. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Could your own refusal to wait for approval be the thing that sets you free to make the impact you were born to make? That's why they try to make you doubt yourself. That's why they tell you to slow down, to be careful, to think about how your choices might make others feel. They don't actually care about your well-being. What they care about is control. They want to contain you, to weaken you, to turn you into something small enough to manage. The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. Proverbs 29:25. Could it be that their attempts to control you are really just their own fear projected onto you? But you weren't built for that. You weren't made to be silent, safe, or unseen. You were made to shake the ground, to shift the atmosphere, to wake people up. Think of someone like Steve Jobs, who constantly challenged the status quo in technology and business. Jobs didn't care about being liked. He cared about changing the world. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. What if your purpose, like Jobs, is not about making others comfortable, but making an impact that resonates far beyond your lifetime? So let them misunderstand you. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them talk. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. You don't need their approval to move forward. Your journey is not for everyone, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. The ones who fear the storm are the ones who have built their lives around things too fragile to withstand the wind. But those who are ready, they'll rise with you. You were never meant to hide. You were meant to change everything. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Do you feel the weight of the purpose you carry? The moment you stop seeking approval and start embracing who you are, you step into your true power. Power isn't about being the loudest, the most liked, or the most accepted. It's about knowing who you are, refusing to shrink, moving with an energy that can't be ignored. It's about seeing through illusions, breaking the rules that were never real, and stepping into the version of yourself that most people are too afraid to become. But the one who is noble plans noble things, and on noble things they stand. Isaiah 32:8. What would it look like if you fully embraced this version of yourself, no matter who it challenges or who doesn't understand? You don't need permission, you don't need validation, and you definitely don't need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them project their fears onto you. The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. None of it matters, because the truth remains. You are not like them. You don't play by their rules. You don't chase approval. You don't move out of fear. And because of that, you are a force that cannot be controlled. They feel it, even if they don't admit it. They see it, even if they pretend not to. And deep down, they know, you are not here to fit in. You are here to change everything. So let them be uncomfortable. Let them question you. Let them fall away. You are rising, and the air gets thinner at the top. Not everyone is built for it. Not everyone has the courage to walk this path. But you do. Keep moving. Keep disrupting. Keep becoming. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Philippians 3:14. Because the second you stop seeking their approval, the second you fully embrace who you were meant to be, you become unstoppable. Beloved, chosen one, if this message resonated with you, if it made you think, feel something deep within, or reminded you of the power you possess, don't keep it to yourself. This is the time to stand tall, to step fully into your purpose. Like, comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear these words, someone who's waiting for that spark to ignite within them. I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Whether you choose to donate or not, your support, your engagement, and your energy mean the world to us. If you feel moved, you can contribute through Super Thanks. It goes a long way in helping us continue bringing these messages to the world. But remember, your energy, your time, and your commitment to leveling up are just as valuable. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Finally, may you be blessed with strength, wisdom, and courage as you continue on your journey. The world needs more people who refuse to play small, who break the rules, shake the system, and step fully into their power. If that's you, stick around. Your time is now. Keep moving, keep evolving, and may blessings pour upon you as you walk in the fullness of who you were always meant to be.